Hey, but it's Jobby, and I'm giving away the Metal Build Evangelion Unit 1, a figure that's pricey, not to mention hard to find. If you want to know how to enter the giveaway, stay tuned. Here's a hint until then. Sign up to Gemmer using the link in the description. But today, I would like to talk to you about how this figure is one of the best figures I've ever had. The Jiang Xing MetalBeast Winged Dragon is a third-party version of the Transmetal 2 Megatron from Beast Wars. And you know how much I love Beast Wars. I will be taking a look at the MP Black Arachnia. Please stop telling me about it! But keep in mind, this figure is very pricey. Same price as the Metal Build Evangelion, in fact. Let me tell you, this figure is worth it. Like that toy store. The shiny and slightly holographic box is impressive enough, but once I cracked that open and revealed the high-quality foam interior, this is the moment that could have determined whether or not I liked the figure. Now, if you're not familiar with the third-party Transformers scene, they're basically Transformers figures not sanctioned by Hasbro or Takara, so, you know, borderline illegal. But the quality on these figures can range from my favorite Transformers figure ever to garbage shit I want to kill myself. But in the case of Winged Dragon here, immediately after I grabbed the figure, I was instantly hooked. This guy is huge! The joints are solid, and the painting and the sculpting on this figure is amazing. This is a borderline perfect figure representation of the Transmetal 2 Megatron animation model. Just like the other Masterpiece Beast Wars figures I've reviewed, I am getting that Roger Rabbit effect here. This looks like a 90s CGI model. And this delicious metallic red paint job, oh my goodness, it's shiny. But to avoid sucking on the figure's tail too much, the paint here is very prone to paint chipping. And in my particular case, it's especially bad at the head. But I'm not that mad about it. And that might be partly because Jiang Xing themselves admits in this beautiful instruction booklet, because of the frequent transformation process and being such a large and heavy product, peeling of the paint and or minor abrasive wear of the product are inevitable. Of course, that doesn't excuse the paint chipping here, but I do appreciate the transparency. So at this point, you're very familiar with my stance on the back of Transformers figures, right? Hashtag Black Lives Matter. And I am glad to say that this figure passed my vaguely defined test. And while we're on the back of the figure here, I must mention these large, very large wings. The hinge joints here are fairly tight, so you can definitely get some impressive spread wing poses. Check out this wingspan! And strangely enough, each wing blade features a hinge joint, so you can get some weird wing poses. I'm not sure about the purpose of this. And you get a hinge joint at the wingtips, and that's all I'll say about the wings for now. Now, the tail came disassembled out of the box. It's a very tight ball joint. All the ball joints here are nice and tight, which allows the tail to hold numerous poses. And the end of the tail has a hinge joint, hinge joint, hinge joint. The ball joints at its dragon arm are also nicely tight. And this also came disassembled out of the box. Me being the Beast Wars fundamentalist as I am, I really love this disproportionate dragon arm. But we do have a feature where if you flip down this panel, flip this panel, remove the dragon arm, and flip this hand out, you can attach the dragon arm to this assembly, and now you get a G1-esque fusion cannon look. I do not really like it all that much, but he does feature individually articulated fingers, and even a hinge joint at the base so he can open it up even more. Same thing with the other hand, which is a lot more sleek, but the hinges at these fingers are really tight, which is fortunately a recurring theme of this figure. All the joints here are extremely solid, thanks to some beautiful ratchet joints. Not only that, but woof, is this guy heavy.
I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym, I'm getting the feeling of coming at home, I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up.
And that must be because of all the die-cast metal coat touch technique, of course. Basically, any part that you see has a chrome coloring, that's made out of metal. The die-cast claws here do have a tendency to pop off, but I think a bit of super glue should fix that. And just by feeling through the figure, I think some of the joints are made of die-cast metal as well, which could explain how solid they are. I cannot keep my hands off of it. It's kinda distracting. I would rather play with this guy instead of jacking off. ball joint at the head, but the swivel is kind of limited due to the length of the helmet. If you lift this hinge joint up, the range of the ball joint is unlimited. Move the wing out of the way using this hinge joint, and that should give clearance for the helmet and head to turn all the way. Now these little claws want to get out of the way as well using their ball joints. Collapse that back down, and there you go. Easy peasy. The hinge joint connecting the helmet assembly is kind of annoyingly loose, and it doesn't snap in at all. You're just gonna have to deal with it. It's not the worst. Can't look up that far and look down that far. Hinge joint at this part of the wings can move the other side, and the wings can move back. These smooth shoulder pads are on a ball joint and a hinge joint, which allows the arm to move out, but that doesn't look that great, so I like to move it out from here. Swivel here, bend at the elbow, and these ball joints that I mentioned previously. Every ball joint can be a swivel. The mouth of the dragon can open, and even the top half can move. Same amount of articulation on the other side, except now the swivel is at the elbow, and the elbow bends pretty high. A tight swivel at the wrist, and ball joints at each of the fingers. A tight waist swivel. Oh, I love that. But they didn't quite nail the ab crunch. It just falls immediately. I spoke too soon. That is a good ab crunch. And for transformation purposes, it could even go even farther. This joint is also die-cast metal. Ball joints at all of the skirts, and that allows you to activate the satisfying kick. And if we move this hairy butt cheek out of the way with this ball joint, the leg can move back that far. Beautiful spread. Thigh swivel, bend at the knee, hinge joint at the shin guards, up and down at the ankle, and a beautiful pivot. But if you extend the foot, the pivot is crazier. My arm's getting a little shaky just by carrying this figure right now. And the up and down is better as well. And he even has individually articulated toes. Each of them has a hinge joint. Same with the back toe. If you like the song that was playing just now, it was an instrumental of Swivelman no Uta. The link's in the description. The amount of poseability that this figure has was something I was actually not expecting from this guy. I was also expecting the figure to feel very cheap. And not only because I've been burned by third-party figures before in the past, but because the face sculpts that were shown in the promotional images were not that great. It looked super bootleggy? Let me tell you, in person, it does not look bootleggy at all. Very show accurate. They perfectly captured his character. I could just hear David K's voice coming out of this face. I guess the only issue I might have with this face sculpt are the pupils. They do look a little bit wall-eyed. In addition to this growling face, you get a whole set of faces. Lift the helmet up, pull this off. That looks ridiculous. And pull that face off. He's got a frowning face, a chuckling face, and this is the face that looked bootleggy. Megatron's face never warped like that in the show. He doesn't have a pair of lips like that. And I have the same issue with this evil smile. This doesn't feel like Megatron to me. I guess you could call it a reference to the original toy, but get out of here. And the faces are not the only accessories you get. You get this fire beam effect part, and same exact thing with this ice beam. But that's not all. Remove his scalp, and insert 3 LR... What kind of batteries are these? Something super obscure that no one would have on hand. There's a switch at the back of the head that if you turn it to the right, you got a red light. Until the red light dies on you. I think it's faulty LEDs inside this head. If we turn the switch to the left, a brilliant blue light to represent the ice beam. Works out for me. I preferred the blue light over the red light anyway. They don't do the best job at lighting up the beam effect parts. And for our final accessory, you get a card. Has some stats on the back and a picture in the front. Not an ordinary card though, it's one of these. Robot mode, dragon mode. But before we get into the dragon mode, we have to talk about his size. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy fuck! Here's the Perfect Effect Biscorira, MP41 Megatron, my previous review, the SH Figuarts Devilman, and the Perfect Effect Mega Doragon. Also, here's Metal Build Ava 1, which I am giving away. Stay tuned. This robot mode is fantastic, and I couldn't be happier with it. Well, the only thing that can make me happier is if this guy transforms. Cue the transformation music. Make sure all the fingers are curled like so. Open up the arm, flip this in, and close it up. We'll leave that for now. Spread the legs and bend them here. Do the same on the other side. If I go to this camera occasionally, it's because this figure is so damn big that filming it on this guy is too much of a hassle. Crunch the abs as far as they can go and turn these side skirts around. Same on the other side, and that was all you needed this ab crunch for. So this whole back is gonna want to unpeg, and it's pretty tight. It's hard to get it untabbed, but once you do, flip that whole part open. You can see that there's a dragon arm there. Bend that, flip that out, turn the figure around, flip the tail up, lift the back panel up to review the other dragon arm, and then flip that around, untab the back. That reveals this whole strut, and this whole head assembly can actually twist. You can kind of see how the paint would chip easily here, right? That open back allows this whole assembly. Can you see that? So this whole strut flips from here all the way down and over. And then you want to twist this whole head assembly around and turn these shoulder pads around, and that will be relevant later. Coming back up to the hole, fold this piece out, turn it around, flip it up. You want to fold this robot mode arm backwards. That folds into the chest, but it's got to go all the way in using this hinge joint. This shit is stupid tight though, so I don't even give a shit if you can't see this, but you could hear it. Okay, there you go. Fold this in, turn that around, and bend it. Now you can just close this part up, turn the dragon head around, and lift that up with these hinge joints until it stays flush with the rest of the body. Coming to this heart-shaped back here, flip these thingies up, position them like that, and the moment I've been waiting for because it makes things a little bit easier, close up the back, and it's a pretty solid connection. You want to open up his hairy ass, and that previously mentioned strut head assembly is going to go between the cheeks, like so, and you want to fold up these things as far as they can go. Lift the tail up, there's a little assembly at his dragon taint, flip these out, and lift that whole assembly so that it pegs in to here. You want to close up his ass, and now there's a hole here, and that's gonna plug in to these pegs. I forgot to close up his neck, twist that around, snap that in. Push in this orb, and this, formerly the back cover, will flip up and plug into that orb hole. And now you have a nice dragon tummy. It was pretty self-explanatory that you bent the knees, right? Stretch these arms out. Look at them claws. That's a hinge joint at the wrist. Bend that elbow out. Twist this as far as it can go. Turn that around, and you got a dragon arm. Same exact thing on the other side. Position the neck, and you get a dragon mode that is so big that I have to stay this far away from it to get it fully into frame. God, he looks so impressive. A few notes about the transformation. I know that it looked like kind of a mess on camera, but this is actually more pleasant to transform than MP44, believe it or not. It's just the fact that he's so big and heavy that it was kind of a workout to transform him on camera. I actually feel kind of winded from handling the figure so much. And also, everything that snapped in during the transformation, this beast mode will not come undone. And you know we gotta get a shot of the wings fully spread. Or should I say, yes. David K might not be in this video, but I did save his clips from last time. Dragon face sculpt is perfect. You get that light up effect in there, and he just looks, I'm gonna come. And the poseability on this guy is almost the exact same as the robot mode, minus a waist swivel. But the dragon arms are completely new with a ball joint at the shoulder, a bend at the elbow, swivel here, hinge joint at the wrist, no wrist swivel, which is unfortunate with all of the joints this figure has. They could have easily included a wrist swivel right there, and a hinge joint at each of his claws. And each claw is made out of die-cast metal. And my god, the claws even have a beautiful spread. You can actually get some very dynamic dragon poses. If Takara decides to make an official Transmetal 2 Megatron, I highly doubt that it's gonna be better than this. If I had to point out a negative with this guy, it would have to be, where the fuck are you gonna put this guy? He's like the size of a house cat. Jesus. Here's Beast Gorilla, Masterpiece Megatron, Devilman, and Megadoragon. And once again, here's Metal Build Eva Unit 1. We're gonna talk about that in just a few minutes. I'll always have a soft spot for Megadoragon's dragon mode. He will always be my dragon son. For this guy though, this is my dragon husband. Oh, I think it's a good thing that I didn't ask David K to be in this one. So, we do have a third mode. Let's transform it real quick and let me tell you how useless it is. Straighten out the neck, move the wings back, retract the arms, and straighten out the legs. Untab the legs like so, bend that goes all the way up like so. And that reveals a set of the wheels. Again, this is way easier to do off camera. Flip this up, that's a thruster, and you want to make sure that the ankle is extended. That allows you to flip out these front wheels. Fold the claw up, fold these guys down, get the arm in position however you feel like, nothing tabs in. Same thing on the other side, and we have a vehicle mode that's just as useless as the original toy. Useless as it may be, it's still really fun, and even though nothing tabs in, it still holds together pretty well. Even these little turbines can spin. I can't sing the praises of this figure enough. Robot mode, excellent. Dragon mode, excellent. Vehicle mode, stupid, but still a lot of fun. Truly the alpha and omega. So whenever Big Bad Toy Store is gonna have this guy in stock, it will be worth the wait. As for the Metal Build Evangelion Unit 1, you won't have to wait long at all for a chance to win this thing. First of all, you want to be a subscriber to JobbytheHong. That's just kind of a given. Second of all, you want to sign up for a free account at Gemmer.com. And what it is basically a social network for collectors like you and me. I've worked with Gemmer a long time ago in the past, and I still post there pretty consistently. It's available on iOS and Android, and it's completely free. Now, here's a little pro tip to increase your chances. Each entrant in this giveaway is allowed up to 3 entries. One entry is when you sign up for a Gemmer account. Your second entry is when you post an item on your Gemmer page. The process for posting an item is simple enough. And your third entry is when you post another item to your page. The giveaway will go through the whole month of November. The winner will be selected randomly by Gemmer, and the winner will be announced on November 30th, most likely on a Failbox livestream. So I better see you there. Keep in mind though, I am giving away the figure that I reviewed, so if you want a good idea on that figure's condition, go ahead and watch that review. Don't worry, I cleaned it thoroughly. And of course... Oh, baby. Okay, that's it for me. After I shut off the camera, I'm gonna go take some lunch. I'm gonna take the figure and put my wiener on it.